Lesson 9. The Root of All Evil. What is money? A penny saved is a penny earned. It takes money to make money. Money can't buy happiness. A fool and his money are soon parted. Money is the root of all evil. You have all heard sayings like these many times, but have you ever stopped to think about the nature of money? Where did this concept come from? Who started it? Is it good or bad? Do we even need it? Because money is such a ubiquitous component of life, most people almost never stop to examine it in any detail other than as numbers on a page or notes in a wallet. Even more significant, money is a key driver for critical decision-making and lifestyle choices, yet few ever stop to consider that it is simply a human construct, not some natural law of the universe, though it has been given the same puppet strings of control. Let's start with the simple question: what does this construct of money actually represent? There is the intellection put forth by economists that money represents an agreed-upon standard for the exchange of goods and services. This may be an adequate definition from a practical point of view, but does it really represent the whole of the story? How do you actually equate the growing of 5,000 turnips to the automated manufacture of a microprocessor? What about the phrase, time is money? Is that a true statement? Is time actually a purchasable commodity? Can you buy more time at your deathbed by offering the universe money? I think not. What we are left with is a human construct of measure that, in theory, has been denominated and metered based upon an agreed standard, though the standard has been frequently changed over the course of time. That sounds an awful lot like the concept of datum and measurement again. Enter shameless plug for lesson 1. But in this case, just what is the datum? If you would indulge me for a moment, let me proffer an alternative thesis. Is not money, in its most basic form, actually a measurement of energy? Early on, humans learned the benefits of specialization and cooperation. The pig farmer cannot produce the best pork chops if he has to split his time between farming and blacksmithing. The blacksmith needs to eat, but he cannot dedicate his time or land to pigs. They could barter, but what happens when each of their roofs start leaking and they need the carpenter? And what if the carpenter doesn't need pork or horseshoes at this moment in time? It makes sense that they recognize the need for a common measure of the effort expended for these activities that all parties could agree upon. It also makes sense that there had to be agreement upon the fact that something that requires more effort cannot have the same weight as something that requires less. But what about value? Just because something takes more effort, should its value be higher? I have previously stated that value is based upon circumstance and perception, and both of these are fluid concepts. But work is not. To see this in practice, look no further than modern art. Paint thrown on a canvas that sells for $40 million may not have the same value in a time where you cannot obtain food or water, but the work it took to create it remains unchanged. Natural law tells us that energy can be neither created nor destroyed, but it can be transduced, being changed from one form to another. The energy required to create goods and services obeys this law as well. This work is transduced into other forms that may result in a product or service, and to measure, store, and trade this work, money was created. It seemed a simple solution to a complex problem, but it had a fatal vulnerability. It offered an irresistible attraction to human greed. It opened the floodgates to those who do not share your best interests because they quickly realized that they could control the people if they were able to gain control of the money. It allowed them to bypass the toil and trouble of physical labor and a lifetime of skill building. They simply showed up as managers disguised as protectors and builders of wealth. They proclaimed that their intellectual superiority would allow them to safeguard and grow wealth for their patrons far better than they would be able to do it for themselves. This could not have been further from the truth. Those who do not share your best interests quickly learned that they could amplify their wealth through shady concepts like usury and fractional banking. Why work to earn money when you can simply create it? Why charge a reasonable fee for a service when you can create years of unearned income through interest on money you never really had to begin with? This position gives them almost total control. They simply conjure more money, which is then used to control the real production and trade of goods and services. They leverage their wealth against human avarice to get others to comply with what they want. But don't be fooled. It was never earned. It was conjured. How was this done? Never underestimate the power of showing up with a clipboard and a colored vest. Why does this matter? You're about to enter a period of time where those who do not share your best interests will attempt to redefine money. They will attempt to cover up their past crimes and steal your stored wealth in the process. They are going to force you into a new system by demonstrating that the old system was fatally flawed, at your expense. Never mind their role as managers who told you that you would be safe and protected if you simply trusted them with your wealth. But as you go through this transition, it is imperative that you remember what money actually represents: stored energy. The energy is a real and tangible thing. The money representing it is a conceptual tool of measure. Like any tool, it is neither good nor bad. It is simply there. Its benefit or abuse is all dependent on its application. The real enemy is not money, be it paper currency, precious metals, or cryptos. Remember, money is a construct representing something else. The entire concept is fiat, meaning it is given value by decree. It matters not if it is a shiny metal, paper notes, or bits in a computer. Its value comes from a consensus that it represents something tangible. If trust is lost and consensus broken, then the money is no longer valuable. Whether it's bars of gold, dollar bills, or digital Bitcoin is irrelevant. No, the real enemy is avarice. As long as human greed exists, there will be those who pursue money at any cost. They don't actually want the gold brick, they want what it represents: the power to influence outcomes. Stored money is like stored energy. The more you have, the more your ability to affect outcomes increases. Let's take a detour for a moment and conduct a thought experiment. Most people are familiar with the replicator device from the Star Trek TV and movie franchise. In case you are not, the replicator is a device that can provide needs and wants upon request by manipulating matter and energy. If you want a steak dinner, you simply ask the computer to create one. If you need a part for the engine, you provide the replicator with specifications and it is generated for you. Earl Grey hot, anyone? The point is, technology is sufficiently advanced to replace the old human labor required to perform these tasks. If human needs and wants could be generated upon command, how would this change the role of money, particularly if it too could be replicated? How would it change the human lust for power? Wouldn't it make the choke points of control more obvious? Access to goods would have to be limited by blocking access to technology. It could no longer be hidden behind money. And before you state that this is simply speculative fiction, do some research into nanotechnology and the work of K. Eric Drexler. This technology is not as far away as you think. Human beings are at an evolutionary crossroads. Technology is in development that will massively change what it means to be human. Automation, artificial intelligence, and nanotechnology will be transformational in that humans will no longer need to spend as much time working to meet basic needs for survival. This represents several problems for those who do not share your best interests, with the primary being a disruption to their historical means of control through the monetary system. They will attempt to adapt to this by introducing digital currency which can be tracked and controlled. There will be excuses about supply chain management, resource scarcity, and criminal abuses like money laundering put forth as justification, but it is really all about control. As humans gain more control of matter and energy, the traditional role of money will change. It is critical to remember that money is simply a measurement tool, and like any tool is designed to perform a specific task. If the task changes, it may also be necessary to change the tool. In the coming days, there will be an amazing opportunity to make beneficial change, but it requires letting go of some long-standing beliefs about money. Electronic money is no different from paper or gold or anything else. It is simply given value by decree and consensus. The key is the management of the supply. Open, distributed ledgers, blockchains, and independent audit are all good starting points. Removing the ability to easily conjure money is key to taking control away from those who do not share your best interests. You do not need more regulation. You need less. Will there be growing pains? Of course. Will there still be fraud, theft, and corruption? Human greed will not be lost through evolution overnight. But financial freedom gives power back to the people because it allows them to dictate how their stored energy is utilized. In this present time, decisions are made by small groups and implemented by force, not consensus. It's not the tool that's the problem, it's how it's being used. Do not be afraid to learn how to use a new tool. Just remember to stay focused on its purpose. When manually developed film gave way to digital photography, the tool changed but the purpose remained the same: to allow people to capture a moment in time through a picture. Money is no different. It is a store of energy that exists as potential. Whether this is done with paper, metals, or digitally makes little difference to its purpose. The key is to make sure the tool is used for its intended goal. When those who do not share your best interest try to gain control of the choke points for money, remember what they really want is to control your potential for their own gains. Do not let them. Money is neither good nor bad. It is simply a tool. Use it to create something great. Does anybody really know what time it is?